We all come from different walks of life, and we face many challenges in life. Whatever you may be going through right now, or whatever you have gone through, I need you to know that you are not alone. I'm Mildred Towns. Let's be real about real life issues. Hello and welcome to Let's Be Real About It, where we are real about real life issues. I'm your host, Mildred Towns. And look, y'all, this is Black History Month, and I just want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you to all the pioneers that have paved the way for us and left their legacies behind, like Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and James McCune Smith. Now, he was born in 1813 and he passed away in 1865, but he was the first African American to earn a medical degree and open up the first Black-owned pharmacy in America. So I just wanted to give a shout out to him and to Rebecca Lee Crumpler, MD. She was born in 1831 as she passed away in 1895, and she was the first Black woman in the U.S. to earn a medical degree in 1883. So you see, even way back in the 1800s, that history was being made, through degrees, medical degrees, and pharmacies, and so many other things was happening, as we go through and we look at Black history this month, and so many people celebrating Black history, and I'm stumbling over my words. So many people are celebrating Black history, across the United States and across the world. So I just want to say kudos to them, and I also want to recognize our first Black president and first lady that can never be duplicated, and that's former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. That I wanted to just recognize them and say thank you for your service. Thank you for being the first Black president and first lady that just displayed the part so well and so eloquent. And to right now, our current Vice President of the United States, which she is the 49th and current Vice President of the United States, and that's Kamala Harris. She is the first female Vice President and the highest ranking female official in the U.S. history, as well as the first African American and the first Asian American vice president. She is also the first Black female to serve as president for a short time. And so, kudos to her, for the service that she's doing. Well done. But I want to start off with, did you know? And so I think, and I tried to find things that we are familiar with, things that we use practically on a daily basis or have used in the past. So I want to start off with Garrett Augustus Morgan Sr. He was born March the 4th, 1877, and he passed away July the 27th, 1963. Now, y'all, he was an American inventor. He was a businessman and a community leader. He went on to patent several inventions, including, y'all, I want y'all to get this, the traffic light. He invented a new kind of traffic signal. Not the whole traffic light, because it was already invented. So, the little yellow caution light that when you come up to the traffic center, you got the red light and you got the green light. The red telling you to stop, the green telling you, okay, that you can go. So he invented the yellow light, that caution light that says you're gonna have to slow down. You coming to a point that the light is getting ready to change, so you're gonna have to slow down. So he invented this in 1923, um, which was one with a warning light to alert drivers that they would need to stop after witnessing, y'all get this, a carriage accident at a particular problematic intersection in the city. So he said, "No, we got to have something to tell people you getting ready to stop. So you need to slow down because you get ready to stop." And I thought that was very exciting that he would invent or improve the traffic light by putting the caution light in there. So every time you could get to a traffic signal or a traffic light, y'all, and the light turned yellow, think about this man, Garrett Augustus Morgan Sr., that he did this. And not only did he improve the traffic signal, he also improved the sewing machine. And not only that, he invented a respiratory device that would later provide the blueprint for World War I gas masks. So he was prominent in inventing the respiratory device. He was the first Black man, get this, in Cleveland, Ohio, to own a car. He was the first Black man in Cleveland, Ohio, to own a car. And he died in Cleveland, Ohio, in June the 27th, 1963. And so this next one that I want to bring forth, we've heard so much talk about her, and that's Madam C.J. Walker. And Madam C.J. Walker was born in 1867. She was born Sarah Breed Love. She was the first child in her family born into freedom. When she began to struggle with her hair issues in the 1890s, she started creating treatments by mixing items from her local drugstore. So she went on to college, she focused on helping American women learn about Black hair and skincare to create their own beauty care business. Um, she passed away in 1919, as she was the first Black early African American woman millionaire. Can y'all believe that? She made millions off of hair care. And most people who've heard of her will tell you one or two things about her. That she was the first Black millionaire, which I said, and she invented the world's first hair straightening formula and or the hot comb. Now, I know y'all remember the hot. I know some of y'all ladies remember the hot comb. I remember when I used to get my hair pressed, or we call it getting your hair pressed with that hot comb that you put on the stove. Back then, we used to put it on the stove and heat it up. And I remember my sister, y'all, she used to press my hair. Oh my God, she'll be pushing my head, hold your head still. You know, you get your ear burned, you get the back of your neck burned and everything. So she invented the hot comb. So kudos to her. Kudos for being the first Black early African American woman to be a millionaire. And I know some of y'all ladies, and some of the men too, will really, really, really appreciate this lady. I know I appreciate her. This is the clothes ringer, and I don't have a picture to show y'all for her. Her name is Ellen Elgin. She lived in Washington, D.C. In August of 1888, Ellen Elgin, a Black woman housekeeper, invented a clothes wringer, which allowed clothing to be washed and dried faster by feeding clothes through two rollers to wring out the clothing, thereby making them easier to hang and dry. Now, I remember this. I remember when we had a washer with a wringer. And I know some of y'all, if you was born back in the 60s when I was born, and when we got to the point that we can get a washer, it had the wringers. So you had to run the water in the washer, run water in a tub, and then run the clothes. Once the clothes washed, run the clothes through the wringer into the rinse tub, and then run it back through to get it to dry some before you hung it on the clothesline. Thank God for the lady who invented that. So that means that we no longer have to get over a wash pot and scrub, and have to go to the down to the water and scrub the clothes like they used to do back in the day. So I give God praise for her. In August of 1880, a black woman housekeeper, I just read that, made it easier for us to hang clothes and to dry them. And the next one I want to talk about, y'all, the man who invented dry cleaning, and that's Thomas Jennings. Thomas Jennings invented dry cleaners. So y'all know they make clothes now to where you don't even really have to take them to the cleaners. But I remember the day when we used to take clothes to the cleaners, to have something to wear on Sundays. Men take their suits to the cleaners and get their clothes clean. Let me tell you, it was a pioneer in the dry cleaning industry and among inventors. In 1821, Jennings became the first African American to be granted a patent. According to the Intellectual Property Owners Education Foundation, the patent protected his invention of dry scourging, a process that paved the way for modern day dry cleaning. Jennings became a tailor in New York City in the 1820s, then went on to start a clothing shop. While running that business, the 29-year-old, and get that, y'all, he was 29 years old and inventing a better way to dry clothes. So the 29-year-old Jennings developed dry scourging, a method of removing dirt and grease from delicate clothing. So this is how the dry cleaning really came into being. Because dry cleaning was going on, but what would happen that I read, people would come in, he would make their clothes, and people would come in, they would have got the clothes soiled, with grease or food or whatever, and they would just throw the clothes away, and they were spending a lot of money to get these clothes made. So he was like, that's got to be a better way, because I don't want these people throwing away my work. And so he came up with this invention to remove dirt and grease from delicate clothing. So thank God, even when you look at it, and this was back in the 1800s, that black people was owning businesses, that black people, I mean, so intelligent, so smart, and so intelligent. They weren't dumb, by no means. They was inventing and reinventing things that had already been made, making it work better. So thank God, for them. The next one that I want to talk about, y'all, that I want to dish out to, and that's Thomas W. Stewart. Thomas W. Stewart was an African American inventor, was awarded a patent on June the 13th, 1893, for inventing the mop. Thank God for the mop, y'all. Thank God for the mop. He invented the mop. Stewart deck mop, made of yarn, quickly became well used for household and industrial cleaning. So why did he invent this mop? Because cleaning floors, y'all, back in the 1800s meant that you was going to have to scrub them on your hands and knees using a scrub brush and a rag. And so he was like, listen, Thomas Stewart was like, nah, it's time for a change. I cannot be getting down here scrubbing this floor on my knees, using a brush and a rag down here scrubbing this floor all over these people's houses. I just can't do that. I can't do that. So I'm gonna have to come up with a invention that will make it easier. So Thomas Stewart envisioned an easier, less painful way using a cloth connected to a stick handle and held in place by a metal clasp. Stewart presented the world with the invention of the mop that we still use today. We still use his invention today, y'all, that we don't have to be down on our hands and our knees, scrubbing that floor with a brush and with a rag. That we have this mop now that we can use. Thank God for the invention of the mop. Thank you, Lord, for the invention of the mop. So, this is another one that we ladies but men are starting getting this now too. And this is hair weaving, the hair weaving process. Christina Jenkins, hair weaving. This is how this came to be. Well, an African American lady by the name of Christina Jenkins invented the hair weaving process in the 1950s. She received a patent in 1951 for this process of hair weaving. Although people were wearing wigs and hair pieces for thousands of years, and when I was reading this, it was talking about, the Egyptians, was wearing wig pieces, and far back was wearing wigs and hair pieces for thousands of years. Christina came up with the weaving idea. She was married to a jazz musician named Duke. At the time, lived in Cleveland, Ohio. I tell y'all what, Cleveland, Ohio has some phenomenal people that lived in Ohio. Christina and Duke Jenkins formed their company, Christina's Hair Weave, in the early 1950s. People were so in love with her weaves and method of applying them that they would pay her. Y'all get this. They would pay her. They would pay this woman right there that y'all looking at, that they would pay her to come to their countries and teach them how to sew in hair weave. She traveled. Her and her husband traveled across the country, across the world, showing people how to sew in weave. So I think that was phenomenal, that she came up with a process, even though there was wigs and extensions and stuff going on back then, but nobody was weaving the hair. Nobody was sewing the hair in that they didn't have to take it out. So, with the wigs, you put it on, take it off, put it back on. But she came up with a method to where you don't have to take it off, that you can wear it and not take it off. So she came up and invented the how to sew in the hair weave, and made money and was paid to travel across the country to do it. And again, I say she lived in Cleveland, Ohio. So there were some good things came out of Cleveland, Ohio, y'all. And this next lady, this is Stagecoach Mary. Now, y'all, I can't even imagine running into this lady. Stagecoach Mary, the daring Black pioneer who protected Wild West stagecoaches. Now, here it is, a woman who protected Wild West stagecoaches, a Black woman. Would-be male thieves didn't stand a chance against Stagecoach Mary. The hard-drinking, quick shooting, male carrier sported 2 guns and men's clothing and a bad attitude. She was one of them people that you ain't gonna run up on her quick. If you ran up on her quick, you was gonna have a bad day if you ran up on her, because she drank like a man. She was a quick shooter. And she had an attitude. They say her temperament of a grizzly bear. Her temperament was as a grizzly bear and was not above a gunfight. Can you imagine? Here it is, this woman. She would shoot you down in a heartbeat. She had a bad temper. She would go from 0 to 100 in less than a minute. had the attitude or temperament of a grizzly bear, and will shoot you, and they say she was quick to shoot, so they didn't mess with her. They had a bad day when they came up against her. She was born Mary Fields in around 1832. Fields was born into slavery, and like many others enslaved people, her exact date of birth is unknown. Even the place of her birth is questionable, though historians have pinpointed Hickory County, Tennessee, as the most likely location. She ended up in Toledo, Ohio. So, Toledo, Ohio was where it was that she passed away. I'm telling you, Ohio, just on the map, Ohio is showing out with Black history. So, there's one that I would like to, and it's Alexander Mills. He was born in Ohio. Here we go again, Ohio, in 1838. And he was an American inventor and businessman, best known for being awarded a patent for automatically opening and closing doors of the elevator. He was awarded his patent October the 11th, 1877. So, y'all, I want y'all to get this. Whenever y'all get on the elevator, those doors that close automatically, he invented that. And when the elevator goes from one floor to the next floor and it stops, he invented that. That the elevator will automatically stop on each floor and the doors will automatically open and close. So whenever you get on the elevator, I want you to think about it was a Black man that was born in Ohio in 1838, invented this. The elevator was already somewhat invented, but he improved it to where it stopped automatically on the floors. And it wasn't anything, that you had to stop manually on the floor like it was, and that it had doors to automatically shut and close. So why did Alexander Miles create the elevator? While riding in the elevator and with his young daughter, Miles saw the risks associated with an elevator shaft door carelessly left ajar. This led him to draft this design for automatically opening and closing elevator doors and apply for a patent. And not only that, y'all, he built his own multi-story building named Miles Block. So he built a building that had different, maybe first, second, third, fourth floors on it, four floors on it that he built. But to improve the elevator with the automatic shut doors, every time I get on the elevator, I went to my doctor's appointment. I got on the elevator, and the elevator, the doors closed, and I thought about him. I said, it's a Black man did this. It's a Black man did this. And when it automatically stopped on the first floor, I was like, a Black man made it to where it can automatically stop on the floor, had nothing manually done. So whenever you get in the elevator, y'all think about that Alexander Miles, who was born in Ohio, improved the elevator with the automatic doors and the stopping on each floor without it manually being done. And so I want to go and I want to look at some Black history from my family. So the picture that you're looking at on that land right there, this is in Seneca, South Carolina. And this is where my granddad, is my mother's daddy, lived in Seneca, South Carolina, on that plot of land. And that's generations. Those people that you see on that, that's the Maxwell. This is at the Maxwell Allen family reunion. And on that land, this is generations. These people, that's generations of people from my great granddaddy. So what happened, what I remember my granddaddy saying and recalling my granddaddy talking about was that his his daddy, his daddy's daddy, yeah, had killed this white man. And so the family, they named with last name, if I'm not mistaken, was Griffin. And so the family moved him from Seneca, moved that family from Seneca to Georgia, to Hartwell, Georgia. And when they got to Hartwell, Georgia, they took on the name of the people who owned the land where the other family was living. And that's how we got the name Maxwell. But the name was originally, if I'm not mistaken, that it was Griffin. I do remember my granddaddy saying that it was Griffin. So the name was changed so that when the people came looking for him, because they knew that they had family in Georgia, that everybody's name was Maxwell and not Griffin. So that's how we got the Maxwell name. And that's how, and every year, y'all, every year, we go back to the home place in Seneca, to this spot of land right here. And you think about, this is generations. This is generations from my daddy's dad, from my granddaddy's daddy. Yeah, from my granddaddy's daddy. Think about the generations that have come down and now back on the same spot of land that they left in Seneca, South Carolina. We go there every year for the family reunion. And one thing that I want to talk about that I don't have a picture for, uh, I do remember my granddaddy saying to me, one of the schools, I can't remember the name of that school. Oh, for the life of me, I've been searching for the school, searching for the school. But I can't remember if it's McDuffie, if McDuffie had an elementary school in Anderson, South Carolina. But my grandsons went to the same school that my granddaddy went to. And when they were children. So I thought that was very exciting that history was made. My grandkids went to the same school my granddaddy went to. Like I said, I don't have a picture for that. I search for schools and I search for schools and search for the name of the school. And I could locate the name of that school. If I would have saw the school, I would remember, oh, this is the school, this is the school. But I never saw the school. So the next picture that I want to look at is Valencia Oglesby. Well, since he got Bip up there, we'll go with James Bip Oglesby. He's a business owner in concrete. And I put him up here because he do concrete art. And that is something, y'all, that I think is so fascinating that he in our family, because my brother do concrete, and my brother trained him and Jermaine how to do concrete. But Anthony took it a little bit further to go and learn how to do art in concrete. So, that's Black history. That's Black history. He doing stuff in concrete that nobody else in my family that I know of have done. If they gone for my brother, taking him and Jermaine underneath his wings and training them, in concrete, that now Jermaine as well as Anthony is their own business owner in concrete and they work for themselves. And, I just give God praise for that this is history in my family, in the Oglesby family and the Maxwell family, doing this art concrete. Another one I want to look at is Valencia Oglesby. And this is some of the concrete work that he does, y'all. You see how he got that art inside of there? That he put that art in there. Y'all should see some of the stuff that he does. And that's just one of the pictures. And this is another one that he did. And I think it's just gorgeous. You see how he just wrote that up in there? It says Grace. I don't know what that says right there, but it's just beautiful work that he does. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to him for Black history. And so if we could go to Valencia Oglesby picture. So Valencia is the first. She's the first doctor in our family. He may not can find the picture, but she's the first doctor, medical doctor in our family. She's an internist, and right now she's studying in Philadelphia in infectious disease. She done went through all this training, y'all, and she's studying in infectious disease right now. Um, so I'm just so proud of her. We are proud of her. As far as I know, until somebody tell me different, Valencia is the first one in the Oglesby family, as well as the Maxwell family, as well as the Allen family that I know of, to be the first medical doctor in the family. So I just wanted to recognize her during this time of Black history. Uh, I do want to recognize my son, Calvin Dooley. He's a business owner. He's a successful chef and restaurant owner right here in Virginia Beach. And, it's just something that's been in him for since he was young. He told me, he said, Mom, I want to go to culinary art school. And so I just give God praise for him. He owned J&K Style Grill. This him and his daughter. And I love this picture right here. That's why I chose that picture, because I think that's a gorgeous, beautiful picture of the two of them, because they do own a daddy-daughter catering service that they started together. And I think, he just take her as well as Tanya, underneath their wings, and they teach her, the business of restaurant owning, and she's been featured in the paper, on the news, on different shows, on podcasts, and she got some things that's coming up, here soon, that she's going to be a part of. And I tell you what, they just tearing up the 757. They got 3 food trucks, 2 restaurants, and Kiana won the Black Diamond Young Entrepreneur Award in 2021. And y'all, if you go back, that's some of the egg rolls. Y'all saw them egg rolls. That's some of the egg rolls, that she created. And as a matter of fact, got a egg roll cookbook that will teach you how to make the egg rolls, how to roll them, what to do with them, and everything step by step that you can order. And then and this is Kiana right here. I think she's gorgeous. She's a beautiful young girl. Beautiful skin, just beautiful young girl. 16 years old, business owner, CEO, of 2 restaurants and food trucks. And God just really using her, and God is just really blessing her. And so this is just my family history, y'all. And I know it's so much more. Y'all see that waffle burger and onion rings? This is J&K, y'all. J&K Style Grill. You see those wings and that Kenyatta sauce dripping down on them wings? Make your mouth water. One best wings in Virginia Beach, best burger in Virginia Beach. So many things they won, so many awards they won. That's her with some of the seasonings. And y'all, the thing about it, all the seasonings are made in house. That God gives my son the ability to create these seasonings, and they all in-house. She said, this is just some of the trophies that's been worn, some of the awards. That's the cookbook right there. It's been worn, and the Miss CEO standing there, I'm just so proud of her and the things that, her accomplishments and the things that God is doing, with her and through her. So, as we celebrate Black history, I am just so excited to be a part of Black history and to present my family, as well as all these pioneers that I have talked about tonight, who have paved the way for us and done so many things to represent the African Americans, in the nation and across the world. So I am so proud of what's happening, so proud of what God is doing. So I know y'all got stuff happening in your families. And this is my son, Craig. I put him on here. God chose to take him on. He passed away in 1994. He was 17. He was going to school to be I'm gonna say on an orthopedic surgeon. So I put him on that because he would have made history because he would have been the first surgeon. Valencia would have been the first medical doctor. He would have been the first surgeon in the family. So that's why I put his picture on here so that just to recognize him. So he passed away in, as I said, 1994. So he would have been this year been 46 years old. So he would have been well on his way, well established, and I know he would have been a good surgeon as well as like just like his brother, very successful in what he put his hand to do. So I just give God praise for him, and I wanted to recognize him. And his plans for going to school. But when God have another plan for us, we can't, there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to go with the plan of God. But, I just thank God that he had the mindset to say, this is what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a surgeon. I'm going to be an orthopedic surgeon. He used to tease my mom all the time, y'all, and say, I'm going to school to be a surgeon so I can work on your knee. So be an orthopedic surgeon so that I can work on your knees. So I'm just so proud, as I say, of what God is doing. So, y'all, that's my Black history for this evening and for the month. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the show. And I want you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Let's Be Real with Mildred Towns. And you can contact me if you want to be on the show, iHeartMinistries@gmail.com, or you can call me at 757-776-2987. If Let's Be Real has been a blessing to you, please consider sending a love offering to $ Mildred Towns. Please order my book, Truth, My Closet Secret Revealed, and a brochure, Cry from the Wound. And you can send me an email and say, hey, I want your book. Or you can send the money through $ Mildred Towns. Give me a call at 757-776-2987 or email me at iHeartMinistries. And special thanks to all the viewers who watch nationally and internationally who watch the show. And until next week, may God bless you and keep you. I'm Mildred Towns. Thank you for watching.